to not be first.
Do we do enough? Well, I never shut up about it.
It must have been about 16, 17. We nicked their gilt rings. Right, the bouncers' gilt rings.
This is no good for me. That's the reality. If you want the honest truth, and I see it every day.
This is Joe Pugh for IFL TV. We're here at Botch Park. Eddie, that was one extreme to the other, wasn't it, last night? Lynn to Conor McGregor, that was mad.
I was knackered. I'm tired today. We were all everywhere yesterday, weren't we? It was a good day. Of course, the press conference, off to the Lynn, you know, great serotonin in there, you know.
I'm not Parsons, come on.
It was wholesome, wasn't it? It was wholesome. And then on to the Conor McGregor party last night, so a bit tired today. But ready for the weigh-in and ready for a big show on Saturday.
How much were the Fishers having it off last night?
What?
The Fishers?
I walked in. You know the funny thing about Johnny Fisher Senior, right? Who's just a legend of a guy, right? You know this Bosch thing? It's not even a thing that he puts on. So you know, like it's become a thing. Obviously, he gets paid to go to clubs, and you'd think that he never does it, but they roll him out. And when he turns up at the club, he goes, Bosch, and everyone goes mad, right? I saw him yesterday. There was no cameras around everywhere, and I looked across the thing, and he went, "All right, mate." Bosh. Like, I was like, "Wow, you do that all the time, don't you?"
Did you see Conor McGregor? He went up to him and went, "Oh my God, it's Big John, Bosh." And then he went to Johnny Fisher, it's Big John's son.
There you go. Legendary.
Certainly. It's been, as we said yesterday, this has really been a slow build, but by tomorrow, I think could be a little bit of needle on this.
Well, there's a lot of excitement for this fight and the show because. Look, I understand, like, although Jai Opatara is the #1 cruiserweight in the world, to the mass audience, you don't really know who he is. It's a shame, because if you watch the Maris Brady's fight, you see an absolute warrior that broke his jaw in 2 places and fought 9 rounds with it. And then Jordan Thompson, who's, you know, looks $1 million, 6'6" cruiserweight, punches like one of the hardest in the division, a Brit, you know, and you think, wow, you know, on Saturday night, we've got the best in the division fighting an unbeaten Brit in London for the World Cruiserweight and titles and Ring Magazine Championship. Like, that's, back in the day, that was unheard of, you know, so I love it. Ellie Scottney, Chev Clark, Rhiannon Dixon, Jimmy Sain's debut, George Liddard, Maisie Rose Courtney, Shannon Ryan, Ibrahim Suleiman. It's a really good card going into a massive card next week. And can I just say, Joey boy, next week, I was a bit gutted because I reeled off an absolute banger yesterday. But I said Josh Warrington from Sheffield. No, trying to become a 3-division champion, which is true.
No, not 3-division, 3 time.
Oh, sorry, 3 time. I'm getting a bit older, do you know what I mean? But I also said he's from Sheffield, obviously he's from Leeds. But that card next week, like, I think sometimes you just look at Wood Warrington. Yeah. Terry Harper is fighting Cecilia Brackhouse for the Unified World Championship. Kieran Conway is fighting Linus Adofia for the British title. That's a great fight. Hopi Price is fighting Conor Coghill. Great domestic fight as well. And Janae Boston's in a big step up as well. That's just the TV portion. That is a banging card next week. You know, there's a few hundred tickets left. Get your tickets for Sheffield Arena. I can't wait for Wood against Warrington next week. So I'm looking forward to Saturday. Next week, I'm looking forward to life. I'm looking forward to everything that's coming. I wake up every day feeling blessed. I think we should be thankful for everything. I think when we sit down for our food, we should say grace.
Okay.
Random, right? But this is something I've been thinking lately. You know, I used to go to some meals sometimes, and before you'd start, sometimes you go to a family that, you know, is full of faith, and they'll sit down and say, Lord, thank you for the opportunity of, you know, today, and I just want to thank you for the food that you presented for us. And I used to think, what's going on here? As I'm getting older, I think we should do it. I think we need to be more thankful. We need to be more grateful. We definitely need to be nicer to each other. But I think you can't control that. You can control yourself, and you can control what you put out to the universe, and you could control that you're grateful. And I think even if you write down every day or every night what you've been grateful for, I'll do a little shout out actually to Jeff Brazier. I don't know if you know Jeff Brazier.
Yeah, of course.
Former Leyton Orient player, and then went on to do a lot of TV stuff and stuff like that. About 4 or 5 years ago, maybe even more. I remember him putting out every day on social media. I just want to say, today, I'm grateful for blah, 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 blah. And I used to watch that and think, Jeffro, what are you going on about, mate? And actually, again, going back to, I think we need to do more of that. Like, if you look individually at your day from yesterday, right? Like, you're 19, right? 20. It's very hard at your age to sort of understand what I'm talking about. It's only really when you get to more of the comfort years, when you start looking back on your life going, fuck, like, I've done a lot. And you mustn't let those moments pass you by. And I think sometimes writing it down, even on making a mental note of it, maybe talking to yourself before you go to sleep, and just saying thank you. It's not about being religious or it's not about having faith, but like yesterday you should be turning around going, bloody hell, what a day I've had today. I went to the presser, went for a bit of lunch, we all got in the motor with Sonny and me and Parsons and you, we're having a sing-song. Sonny's got his top off, he's rapping, he's doing this. We turn up, we reopen the Lynn, we get the community moving down there, it's a great feel-good thing down there. Then we go to Conor McGregor's party, you meet him, you're at it, do you know what I mean? So you're smashing it really at your age, but don't let it pass you by and make sure you're grateful for it every day. Because I wasn't really at that age, or even in this sport, doing shows. One of the biggest mistakes I made, it's not mistakes might be the wrong word, is not living in that moment and being grateful. So when we did AJ against Klitschko, probably didn't go, thank you so much for this, like, blessing, this opportunity. And after that night, probably should have gone back and say, can I, like, written something down or say, I can't believe it, because it was like, who are you going to fight next? Oh, there's a mandatory letter. Oh, you got a show next week. So this is waffling on a little bit, but don't let life pass you by. Be thankful for all blessings and all opportunities and all experiences, good and bad. Because I truly believe that the bad experiences make you, and they're there for a reason, to mould your direction or the way you approach things.
All hail philosopher Hearn right there.
I think as you get older, I think it's good. I think that if I can, not help anyone, but if I can put anyone on the right track through my life experiences, like I said, because I remember being in my 20s, not a clue. I was still, like, was doing well and I loved life, but I just didn't, like, at that age, you just really don't understand what life's about.
Again,
I'd rather be 20 than 40.
So would I. I'm enjoying it. We go from something very positive to something slightly negative, but we see Boxing News released their follow-up article to Thomas Hauser's initial article about Conor Benn. First of all, on that article, what was wrong with it?
I mean, look, I hate having to go to an outlet and saying, you need to apologise, because you do it every day, because there's so much rubbish out there. But every now and again, you need to put someone on notice. Thomas Hauser, in my opinion, has an agenda against either me or Matchroom, or I don't know what it is, but I've seen so much rubbish written by Thomas Hauser, so many untruths. And what I saw in that article was a couple more, and I read it and I just thought, I cannot believe you are allowed to say that when it is complete rubbish. You know, and the main two things were, Conor Benn, you know, he fights again, a week's notice, he hasn't been tested. How do you fucking know? You know, I've done interviews telling you he's been random tested by VADA multiple occasions over the last 12 weeks. Like, you don't even listen. And then he says that the evidence that the scientific evidence that he produced for UCAD was basically disregarded. It's absolute rubbish. And I'm like, as an outlet, and Don McRae did this recently in The Guardian, I should have, you know, but I just couldn't be bothered. But eventually it's like, you haven't even asked me. So you're building this case, this agenda, and you're not even getting my response to it. Like, there's a journalistic integrity where you should phone me and say, just to let you know, we're doing this piece, and Tom Hauser said that Conor Benn hasn't been tested for this fight. And I will go, of course he is. Here's the tests. Or, I've already told you he got tested multiple occasions. Or, Thomas Hauser says that Conor Benn produced scientific evidence that UCAD threw out. I say, what was he talking about? And they would never have published it. But they published it, and I just got to a point where I went, I'm not having it. It's too much. And I spoke, and listen, I love Boxing News. I think they're a massive part of the game. I think they're a fantastic publication. And fair play to them. We had a sensible conversation, and they went, we accept, we're wrong, and we shouldn't have printed it. So they put an apology out and said it was all complete rubbish. And I hope Thomas Hauser thinks twice, or even might want to speak to me, to find out what's true and not, rather than just listening to rumours or making his own opinion that he states as facts. There's a lot of people out there like that, and we can't deal with every one of them, and I don't like doing it. But every now and again, I just read that and I thought, someone's going to read that and believe it, and then attack Conor and attack me. It's like, it's not on. So, end of story. Love the boxing news, always welcome. I'll give them all my time, but I respect that they took it on the chin and said, we shouldn't have done it. Thomas Hauser was wrong, he was incorrect, and we will, make our apology.
Did you see Ben Shalom on TalkSport yesterday?
No, I saw Parsons just asked me a question saying Ben Shalom basically announced that they've agreed to do Yard against Buatsi on Sky with a possible rematch. And then Boxer issued a statement to say that's not true. That's what Parsons has told me. I don't know if that's...
I know he's made comments about some talks with a potential winner of Buatsi Aziz with Yard, but I don't know about the broadcaster. But the things I just want to quickly pick up on, because I know the weigh-in is about to start. He says, you've got an intent to create a divide in boxing, and Matchroom are the most difficult promotional outfit.
Is that what he said?
Yeah.
It's interesting. I mean, I've been in the sport 15 years. I think he was about 8 when I started. We don't need a divide in the sport. We didn't intentionally create a divide in the sport. We created a divide in the sport because of the quality that we produce and the size of our operation. So there is a big divide between Matchroom and Boxer. In fact, it's not a divide, it's a gulf. It's the biggest gulf in the world, bigger than oceans, in terms of ability, in terms of promotion, in terms of the art of selling, in terms of stable, in terms of shows, in terms of everything. So I think Ben needs to loosen up a little. We're giving Ben a great platform to try and build himself as a personality. It's very difficult to do. When you come under fire, you just need to be able to soak it up. And I think, Frank Smith's in that situation at the moment. I don't think Ben does that very well. And we'll see if Frank Smith can take it as well. Unproven. Yeah. So we'll work with anybody. Some people don't like us because we're so successful and massive. And, Sky Sports as a whole definitely aren't happy with us leaving their platform. And it's been a shame because it's really affected the product. And obviously it's mainly affected the profitability around the sport, which has dived and become disastrous since we left. So I wish Boxer all the best, Ben all the best. There's no divide at all. I mean, but happy to work with them. But every time we've tried to work with them or make a fight, they haven't responded and they've pulled their fighter out of the purse bid. That should tell you everything you need to know.
Last one, very quick, in relation to accusations about the Conor Benn kind of making that offer. He said there's no way anyone should be making that fight, so it's completely untrue.
His representatives who work with Boxer have tried to make that fight. We wrote them a letter recently to confirm that, of which they said, no, he doesn't work for us. He does. He makes a string of fights for them. He made Brook against Khan with them, for them. So happy to explore that further if they think that's incorrect. Of course, if Ben Shalom had a chance to make a pay-per-view of Ben against Eubank, let's be real. I mean, he's so desperately in need of a pay-per-view, they can't deliver any. And he doesn't have any association with Chris Eubank Jr. Wasserman and Chris Eubank Jr. will decide what fight's next for Conor Benn, for Chris Eubank. If Chris Eubank wants the biggest fight for him in boxing, he'll fight Conor Benn. If he doesn't, we'll see what else is out there. But no problems. Look forward to just make sure IFL ask him if their show this week's being VADA tested, yeah? Cheers.
Used to not be first.
Do we do enough? Well, I never shut up about it.
It must have been about 16, 17. We nicked their guilt rings. Right, the bouncer's guilt ring.
This is no good for me. That's the reality. If you want the honest truth, and I see it every day,